Okay, I think the last video for tonight is that I want to talk about quickly is syntax. Now, some videos I talked briefly about syntax, and syntax is just a fancy way of saying word order, right? This is just a little kind of note video. It's not really just teaching you stuff. It's just an FYI for your information kind of video. Syntax in Cebuano is a little weird. It's more flexible than what we have in English, right? Syntax is very flexible. Why? Because we have case markings and focal markings, right? And those, if you speak a language that uses cases, for example, like Romanian, Latin, German, Russian, those languages that include cases, you will know that, or I guess those are just examples of Indo-European languages, but you will know that these languages that have case markings and other kind of markings that mark their grammatical function are very flexible in their word order, even though their word order might be a homestay of one alignment, right? Cebuano is the same, right? So the syntax of Cebuano depends on the focal marking, right? The case, the type of sentence, whether it's a exclamation, interrogative, imperative, or just a regular sentence, right? And also the natural word order. It just depends on it. So the natural word order for Cebuano is a verb initial. It's a verb initial kind of language. So we have our verbs first. It's a verb subject object kind of language. A verb initial, I guess, or predicate initial. Some people say that. I would say it's verb initial. All right, a verb initial language. Why? Because the verb goes first, and that's the natural conversational sounding of Cebuano's word order. We have focal marking, case, and sentence types of sentences as well, so keep those in mind, as well as the alignment. Okay, down here I wrote down example sentences of the same thing with different ways that you can move around the particles and the words, but the meaning will still be the same. English has the same as well, right? But you'll start to see the picture, right? Our first original sentence is Dili baka pwede mo uban kanako, meaning are you not able to come with me, right? But let's break this down word for word. Dili is a negative. Ba is a question particle, which makes sense because at the end we have a question mark, so we know we're going to get a question. Ka is ikaw, the shortened form is ka, written in the absolutive case. So just keep note of that. Ka is that ikaw form written in the absolutive case. Why is it written in the absolutive case? Because we are talking about you, the second person singular, right? The second person singular, ikaw. That's you are the main topic or focus of the sentence. Puede is a modal verb, but that's pseudomodal verb, right? Meaning to be able to, or can you. It's showing that verb of ability, right? Uban is the verb means to join or to come along with, right? Or to be accompanied with. Mo is our actor focus conjugation, right? Which makes sense with ikaw. And kanako is written in the the oblique form of with me, to me, for me. We talked about that, right? So we have the oblique case, an absolutive case, an actor focus conjugation, and a negative, right? A negative question marker, right? A negative and a question marker. Dili ba ka pwede mo uban kanako, which is the same as dili ka ba pwede mo uban kanako, right? What happened here in the second sentence? I just switched these two around, right? Why? Because it's flexible that way. That ba, as long as that ba is in that sentence somewhere, it's going to indicate a question, okay? Again, syntax depends on that word order with the case, right? Ka, and the type of sentence, which is an interrogative in this case, right? Pwede ka ba muuban kanako? Are you able to come with me? Pwede ka ba or pwede ba ka? Same thing. You can switch those two around, right? Pwede ba ka mauban kanako? Pwede ka ba mauban kanako? Are you able to come with me? Or are you able to join me, right? Now look at these next few ones, okay? Mauban ba ka kanako? Pwede, right? Are you gonna come with me? Is it possible? Pwede, right? Muuban ka ba kanako? Pwede. Again, you see that ka and the ba switched around. Now, all these other words here, the umuuban, the kanako, and the puede, you can also move them around. You just need to know when to put the punctuation, which is the comma. So if I wanted to have kanako first, right? Kanako, comma, muuban ka ba? Puede. So it's gonna be more like two commas. Kanako, comma, muuban ka ba? Comma, puede. Right? If I wanted to use kanako first, which is kind of weird. I mean, but it works. It does work and it's grammatically correct. We will understand it. It's just kind of weird hearing it that way. Kanako, muuban ka ba? Pwede. It's like you keep asking questions, but that's okay because it is still grammatically correct. And again, just keep in mind that Cebuano's word order is a verb initial, verb subject object. So obviously it's gonna be much more of a conversational flow if you have that verb in front. So that's why this I guess like these earlier sentences, like especially this one, pwede ka ba muuban kanako? This one is very naturally flowing. Why? Because that verb is the beginning, that verb initial, especially that pseudomodal verb, right? And then let's talk about these last ones. Where am I? I guess we can start here. Muuban ka kanako? Pwede ba? Right? You're gonna go with me? Is that possible? And then the next one, muuban ka nako ikaw, pwede ba? Why did we change ka to ikaw here? It's simple. Ka is no longer that first, because in the first few examples here, ka was that first pronoun, right? Written in the absolutive case. But if it no longer is that first pronoun, and if it follows, if it's broken up, and if it's not directly following a verb like this one here, or a negation, like this one up here, right? If it doesn't follow the verb or the negation immediately, it has to go back to the full form. Muuban ka nako ikaw. You can't say muuban ka nako ka. That sounds weird. No, it's. I mean, we'll understand you. It's just not grammatically correct. But you can say this one here. Muuban ka kanako, right? Muuban ka nako ikaw. Pwede ba? See, so this one makes sense too because ikaw is no longer in the beginning next to the verb or the negation particle. And the last two, again, and I put these ellipses, right? Because there are more than there's just more ways to express this sentence, right? There are just more ways to move around the words. So, ikaw ba ang muuban kanako? Pwede, right? So look at this. We put this absolutive case in the first. We have to use that full form ikaw because we're talking about you now as a phatic pronoun, right? Emphatic pronoun, right? So we are talking about you as an emphatic pronoun. You are the emphasis. It makes sense. Why? Because if we're talking about you, and you are the main focus, right? And we're talking about you, that is going to be the absolutive case right there. If we're talking about emphatic pronouns and we're talking about you, obviously emphatic pronouns by default will be in the absolutive case. Ikaw ba ang muuban kanako? Pwede. And finally, the last example I have here, right? Because there are, again, more of examples. Ang muuban kanako ikaw? Pwede ba? Right? The one who is going with me is you. Is it possible? Right? This is actually a really weird sentence, but it's still grammatically correct. Ang uban kanako ikaw, pwede ba? The one who is gonna come with me is you. Is that possible? So, I mean, if you're a Cebuano speaker, you'll understand what I mean by having it sound weird, but it is grammatically correct. Again, syntax, it's just the way the words are moved around. If you are going to be moving around words, again, this video is just an FYI, keep in mind that you will probably have to change some of the cases into full forms, having some commas here and there, left and right, and then just expect some other particle markers to be there. For example, ang marks the one who is going with, right? This verb, ang mauban kanako. So the person that is coming with me, ang mauban kanako. We're talking about that person that is coming with me. That's why we have ang marked before mauban kanako, because ang mauban kanako translates to the one who is going with me, right? It's a noun, right? It's a noun. Even though this ang is before that verb, right? This ang marks this entire this entire phrase here, ang muuban kanako, ang muuban kanako, and who is the ang muuban kanako? That ang muuban kanako is the person that is going to be going with me. And what is that person? That person is a noun. So that's why we need to have that more that particle marked with ang, right? Again, this video should just open your eyes up to syntax, because I might make more videos explaining syntax, I might not, but we'll see. And again, I just want to give you an introduction about syntax and more in-depth analysis of it.